Let's talk about where the Bible came from. A lot of individuals ignore the long historical gap between the creation of the Catholic Church all the way to when the Bible was first published. Many people think as long as we have a Bible now, it doesn't matter about really any of the origins of it, where it came from. We just think of it as the Holy Bible. Let's just follow it. Let's not think about anything in the past. But in reality, many people ignore the crucial role the Catholic Church played in canonizing the Bible. The Bible is the product of a 2,000-year gap between the first creation of the Catholic Church all the way to the publication of the Bible. And an important fact is the Holy Bible is a Catholic book. Without the church, we cannot establish the authenticity of the Gospels, nor the rest of the contents of the New Testament. If asked the question, how do you know Matthew created the book of Matthew? A lot of Christians say, well, isn't it obvious his name is in the title? The title, however, was added later by Catholics who knew that the gospel was traced back to Matthew. So without Catholic witnesses, how can one even comprehend gospel's authorship? The truth is, we can't. Writings of scripture are from inspired sources, and the church made sure that these sources were correct. But how do we know that the scriptures are from authentic sources and are not spurious? Well, the church had to deal with this difficulty early on. So in Thessalonians 2, we learned that the Thessalonians became upset by an oral statement. And this oral statement, also known to be a letter, alleged that the apostles said that the day of the Lord is at hand. And this infuriated Thessalonians. Now, how did the Thessalonians determine that this letter was not authentic? Well, Paul gives them the means to authenticate his own letters. He commonly said, "This greeting is in my own hand, and this is the sign in every letter. This is how I write." So he made sure the Thessalonians and every other church knew, hey, I'm writing this letter. By using the same knowledge, the Thessalonians were also able to confirm the second epistle to be authentic. Without the Catholic community's witness to authenticity, how would we know whether or not Paul actually wrote this letter? The original inspired autograph of Paul's does not even exist anymore. So scripture, when removed from the context of the church, loses a basis for determining the New Testament's authenticity. Now, the New Testament began as a bunch of separate documents. And early on, several different groups from the Catholic Church held to different canons of scripture, where they analyzed letters and documents to determine what was the correct order. They also wanted to ensure the authenticity of all of these documents, letters, pieces of writing. One example of one of these groups of people were the Marcionites, and they was to only accept the letters from Paul and from Luke in the Gospel. Now, another group called the Ebionites actually disagreed with that way of thinking and rejected Paul's letters, and they even accepted an altered form of the Gospel according to the book of Matthew. There was big disagreement over what order to put all of these documents in. So how were we to know which one was right? Luckily, there was a single authoritative church, the Catholic Church, which showed us what the true canon was. The church received